Good evening, friends. We took a week off. We're back at it. Everybody's happy to have us back. Listen to the crowd. They gave me new toys to play with on StreamYard. I'm going to have a good time with it. Welcome to the Week 8 preview of the Massillon Fantasy League. I'm Ryan. He's Dan. Dan, how you doing tonight after a Massillon victory that I think made my percentages aren't great here. 87% of our league very happy today.
I'm feeling great. I'm on the happy side. I will say that's the most league chatter we've had in a long time today.
Yeah, literally blew up my phone. 12 guys. I don't even say you guys were arguing about high school football. You actually kept it very civil for a Massillon-McKinley fight. So
I would say there was a little bit of arguing. I think Phil was getting a little heated, upset, frustrated.
You seem to have calmed things down by coming in and being the voice of reason. So
yeah, but I think some people were getting upset by that Rob was calling out some Massillon faults, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. We get too many. Massillon commits too many penalties. I will say
you've been telling me that all season. We don't ever talk about it live on air, but you've been saying that to me all season.
Honestly, it's been a problem for years.
Couple years.
But yeah. I will say I feel like they button it up better in the playoffs. It's more of a regular season issue.
I think they got a holding call in the fourth quarter, and then I heard the announcer say that was their first penalty in the second half. So they seem to have cleaned shit up in the second half.
There were some dumb penalties in the first half. One play, the receiver dropped the ball and then picked it up, or he caught it maybe, and he was just down tackled. And as he got up, the Massillon corner just knocked it out of his hands just to get an extra 15 yards out of it. It was nonsense. I mean, but 2 plays later, McKinley threw an interception, so it ended up not mattering. You just can't always count on that happening. But I get what Rob's saying. Like they do make some mental mistakes when it comes to penalties.
I'm a perpetual hater, and you've come to grips with my hatred of high school football over the last couple of years. I was just shocked to see that, like, a vast unwillingness to throw the football. It was like really weird to me where they kept remarking how each team was stacking 8 in the box and playing no free safety, and yet nobody was really forcing the ball deep. It was just strange to me.
So I've seen this in this game a lot. It seems like Massillon just wants to get a lead and just run the ball and just chew the clock. And that's just how they want to play that game. They don't want to risk making a mistake they don't have to make.
Yeah.
And I just don't think McKinley has the ability to throw the ball.
There you go. Like I said, I don't know anything about these teams except for what you've told me for 2 years at this point. But someone mentioned it was on YouTube, so I watched bits and pieces of it.
I know you said you get bored. I love it, man. Just a bunch of kids playing.
I mean, me and you
about college. I love college.
I was just going to say, you and I, a turn happened back in early 2000s where I stopped enjoying non-professional football, and you and I have wrestled back and forth with that for ages, where I don't enjoy the college game. I certainly don't enjoy the high school game. I thoroughly enjoy the professional game, where I know you thoroughly enjoy college better than the pros. So
absolutely. I think it's just means more. It matters more. It's just more fun. It's just watching guys that necessarily might not make it to the NFL give everything they have.
Yeah. I see the appeal, and Rob P even called me out in the chat. They're high school kids. I will never hate on the actual kids. It's just the game itself. Very dull.
That game wasn't the most entertaining game. Don't get me wrong. Like you'll have other games that are far more entertaining.
Yeah. Speaking of entertaining, Dan, let's get into the Massillon Fantasy League standings up on the screen right now. Dan, we took a week off last week. People are saying they want to hear us talk about trades, so I do have our lessons learned. Well, my lessons learned. I'll quickly run through these. We can talk about anything interesting. Last week, we saw one of the most pathetic matchups. We saw the Massillon-McKinley of our league last week, Stevie versus Taylor, where they only combined for 109 points. 8 teams in the league last week scored more points than that matchup scored. Found that interesting. And then my next 2 things, Dan, really come down to, I think this is both JR's team. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I said it might be some time to put some respect back on Patrick Mahomes' name. QB1 in fantasy right now, 18 total touchdowns. And then the Jonathan Taylor trade is just an absolute fleece at this point, Dan. I actually did this. I looked this statistic up for one of my other shows this week. Jonathan Taylor has more rushing touchdowns right now than any other team in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a terrible trade. We thought it wasn't great at the time of the trade. It just keeps looking worse and worse. I mean, where could Kenning's team be right now if Jamar Chase is going to play that well with Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
And if he would have had Jonathan Taylor and Jamar Chase, like he could have been in a great spot.
Kenny is sitting at 3-4 right now with 775 scored. That puts him with more points than Eric, 12 points behind Stevie, having given Jonathan Taylor up. I think he is easily in 6th for sure, if not 5th right now.
And that would also knock, JR back a little bit.
Good point. Great point. 5th for sure, if not 4th right now. So, yeah, I found that interesting as well. Let me quickly, Dan, just get the last couple of weeks trades up because that's what the people mentioned they wanted to see when they found out we were off last week. So 2 weeks ago would have been October 11th. We would have discussed everything after that point. So let's see. So the main one that I guess went down was the Jaden Daniels trade where Darren cursed Jaden Daniels. Darren gives up a 1, 2, and a 4 plus Bo Nix for DeAndre Swift, Jaden Daniels, a 6 and a 7. So obviously Darren's sitting at 0-7 right now. It seems like he was playing for next year, but then again, he could have tried to make a run if Jaden Daniels was going to stay healthy. He didn't. I don't think in the long run this hurts Darren. It was a big price to pay to try to get your elite quarterback, and he did what he needed to do. It's just obviously not going to help him get out of the cellar in this season.
I don't know. I don't love the trade either way. When you're a struggling team, does Jaden Daniels make that big of a difference? He to have those draft picks leave for next year. Like look at Rob P. Look what Rob P has done in the draft. You can turn a team around without keepers in the draft. Rob P has shown that.
Stacking draft picks, yeah.
It is possible to give that up for Jaden Daniels, who I don't know.
I mean, I haven't hit anybody with the I told you so yet because I do like Jaden Daniels, but this was the knock on Daniels coming out of college, that he was too thin and injuries were going to become a problem. And so far in his second season, that's what we're seeing.
Here's the thing. Jaden Daniels is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not good. Is he worth giving up everything he was giving up on? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think it's not like he didn't have somebody. He had Bo Nix. Bo Nix is not awful. Bo Nix is not.
Well, Bo Nix was the number 1 fantasy quarterback last week after that trade. Literally, Darren double fucked because you get Jaden Daniels, he gets hurt, and Bo Nix absolutely goes off. So,
yeah.
It took him
I
3 quarters to find it, but. And then Eric sees that he's in playoff contention, goes out and makes a deal, gives up a 1 and a 2 for Cam Scatterbo and Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith immediately rewards him by going for the most yards in the NFL this season.
I love the trade. I love that he went for it. I think Cam Scatterbo, I was really down on him. I was as well. I did not see this coming from him. He didn't really shine in college. He made some nice plays. He went to the combine, ran slow. I didn't see him getting this opportunity and being this successful with it.
Everybody fell in love with him in that first round playoff game last year that he had.
Yeah. And there's a little something. I heard his name before then. I'm just shocked that he's doing what he's doing. But if you're giving up a 1 and 2, I'd like to see you get a better receiver than Devonta Smith. That would be my only complaint about it.
I mean, I don't disagree, but I also think it could work out with. I'm as the AJ Brown manager of the league, I wouldn't want to buy into this Eagles passing offense at all. But now with AJ Brown set to miss some time, Smith paid dividends last week. Obviously, it didn't get him the win because my team went off. But Smith paid dividends for him last week, and then I think Smith has another good week in him this week as well.
Oh, and he's going to have weeks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's going to be a flop. But if you're going to put 1 and a 2 and you're going all in, I think you want someone with a little more consistency.
Yeah. I don't disagree. And honestly, Dan, when I do my own kind of playoff projections, that wasn't enough for me to just give the spot to Eric yet. I'm still giving it to Terry. I like Terry's team a lot overall. Terry's sitting at 3 wins, just out of the playoff hunt right now, or not. He's in the hunt, out of the playoff standings right now. I'm sticking it with the 5 who are up top, but I do have Terry stealing Eric's spot right now.
I'm keeping the top 6. I think the 6 teams that are going to make the playoffs are there.
Yeah, you said that 2 weeks ago as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and jinx my team now, Dan. With everything I'm seeing, I'm crowning myself champ. It took 7 weeks for me to drink my own Kool-Aid, but I've taken the championship away from Rod P, given it to myself.
This is going to be a fun end of the season for me. because we're quickly approaching my favorite version of Ryan, and that is overconfident Ryan.
Yeah, we saw how well that did with me with Greg. Not that I could have done anything there. Everything just went terribly wrong.
There's like overconfident in a matchup Ryan, and then there's overconfident in every aspect of life Ryan. And we're approaching that aspect of Ryan right now. Okay. And it usually Wile E. Coyotes you in the face.
Oh, it certainly does.
Rocket blows up, and you're just standing there full of dirt.
Well, speaking of, let's get into the matchups, Dan, because we took a week off. But I want to give you a little bit of credit, Dan, and I want to give me.
We're going to talk about it. I already know what you're going to say. But
I want to give me a lot of bit of credit. So, Dan, last week when we did not do the show, we all sent our predictions. Everybody did great. Darren went 5-2. I went 6-1. You went 7-0, Dan. So a week after I go 7-0, you go 7-0. And I was like, damn.
Before we even talk about that, we got to talk about something else.
Oh.
The week before that, when you gave me crap that Rob Motts was not going to win because he was down 60 points on Thursday night.
Okay.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, this is the 7-0 week.
The week you went 7-0.
You went 7-0.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah. So we're talking about it. Keep going. Talk your shit.
Yeah, you told me how wrong I was. And then Rob not only came back to win, he won by 50 more points on top of that.
And Dan, that was the only pick I got wrong that week. Literally, I went 6-1, you went 7-0. The one thing that we disagreed on was Rob Motts coming back, and Rob Motts came back with a fury. And Dan, normally that would mean I have a little bit of egg on my face. Except that motherfucker, I went 7-0 again last week to your 6-1. So over the last 3 weeks in this league, I am 20-1 in predicting these fucking matchups, Dan. So yeah.
Overconfident Ryan.
Overconfident Ryan, which is why I went wild on my picks today. I'm going to be honest. I fucking hate my picks today. This is literally going to blow up in my face, Dan. Before we move on, I didn't really give you a chance to talk about anything else you picked up over these last 2 weeks other than overconfident Ryan. Anything you want to add before we move on to these matchups?
No, I mean, my things I know. I mean, I think JR has got a real good shot at doing something special this year.
Jonathan Taylor, man. Untouchable.
Actually, I think the biggest thing for him is Mahomes being Mahomes again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny because I made those my 2 points. I it didn't click for me until we started talking that I'm talking about the same team. So,
yeah, those were my points. I thought Mahomes being Mahomes is going to be a game changer for JR.
Yep. It's still wild to me that years ago I traded Josh Allen to get Mahomes, and obviously it got me the trophy. I'm not mad about it. For the last 2 years, that's looked like the stupidest trade ever because Josh Allen has been a god. But now this year, it's looking like you just have to get him off my roster and everything works out a little bit better for these players. So,
kind of like when every aspect of any player on your team. There's video games, fantasy.
That's fair as well. All right, Dan, as we move in to week 8, you got me at 5-2, Kenny sitting at 3-4. Kenny may not even start a lineup this week. Don't exactly know what he plans on has going on. I got a monster performance out of Justin Herbert. And Dan, basically, I wanted to ask you, since there's not a lot to talk about in this matchup, I think you're certainly going to pick me to win. I'll be shocked if you don't. Any change in your opinion on Justin Herbert after a monster Thursday night going into his not even going into his bye week. He still has a couple weeks before that. So,
I mean, pull up his season stats.
Right now, in fantasy, he's the QB2, but that is because he has a game ahead of everybody else. As of this moment, Mr. Justin Herbert is sitting at 2,100 yards, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, another 248 rushing yards.
Scroll up a little bit. Let's go game by game.
Yeah.
If I took away the name, and I told you, you have a 15, a 12, an 8, a 10, and a 17 in there, you're going to feel great about that? No, I don't feel great about it. He's going to have some good games. They're still an NFL offense. He's still a good quarterback. He's a good NFL quarterback. I just don't think he's going to have the consistency to win you a championship. Scroll down. Let's see who he plays in the playoffs.
Let's see. Oh, I hit the wrong buttons. Now everything's fucked up. In the playoffs, 15, 16, 17, KC, Dallas, and Houston. So if I can get
that KC and Houston,
if I can get to the championship game, it's going to work out, or get to the semis. I'm going to the championship, plain and simple. So, and then my last question here is, Dan, is there anyone on Kenny's bench that is uncuttable? Like, he needs to go get a running back. He just put in a claim for Keon Coleman. Like, you got to give up on Sanders or Stroud or Joe Flacco and go get a running back and start a running back this week, right? Like,
I understand keeping Stroud on there, but Sanders is pointless. The Browns don't even like Sanders.
Yeah, it's strange to me because, like, you can't give up the point of luck in the lottery unless you are just confident you're making the playoffs. And I just don't see any situation where Kenny can be confident he's making the playoffs. That was kind of my.
He's 3-4, going to be 3-5 after this week. He's not going anywhere.
There you go. And Dan, the algorithm, I was going to say, always likes to make your game next, but it doesn't. It likes to make Darren's game next. We got Darren 0-7 taking on his buddy Eric. This was an old rivalry game when we did rivalry games. As of right now, Eric does not have a full lineup, if I remember correctly. Or no, he does. So as of right now, with a full lineup, Darren is actually projected to win this game by 7 fantasy points because of the terrible performance of Quentin Johnston on Thursday night, getting Eric a big old 0, whereas Darren, 17 fantasy points out of his boy Ladd McConkey. Is this it, Dan? Is this the week where Darren gets his first win?
I'm going Eric. I think he gets the win. I understand that 17-0 looks bad, but look at the rest of those lineups.
Yeah.
Warren going against that tough Green Bay defense. Dart on the road in Philly, I think, could be a tough challenge for him. If he had, neighbors, it'd be a little bit better. But
so Dan, I thought we might be different here, but I'm with you on this one. When I look at the bench on this team, obviously losing Matt Stafford and Kenneth Walker, not exactly help. Well, I mean, he has Jalen Hurts, so regardless, because Jalen Hurts is actually the deciding factor on this for me. I thought this would be Eric from the start. Obviously, Thursday flipped things up a little bit. But when I broke the whole thing down, it came out to one of my little ties in the way I predict my games. And when it comes to a tie, I take the quarterback. And I agree with you. I think Dart struggles this time around on the road against Philadelphia. And I think Jalen Hurts has his way with the Giants defense. So I am also taking Eric here. And now we get to your matchup. Metzger versus Greg. Dan, you're sitting at 3 wins. Greg is sitting at 2 wins. Sleeper has you projected to win this matchup by 4 points. My quick takeaways on this matchup is there wasn't a lot to break down here. I do like Greg's tight ends a lot, and it is National Tight End Week. I like the rest of your team far better. I'm picking you to win this one pretty easily, even though right now Sleeper has it as a close matchup.
I mean, I'm going with myself. I think I should win this. I don't love some of his players, and I don't love some of my players in there either. I have a lot of guys on bye, but I still feel confident in my guys pulling out this win.
Yeah, what really kind of hurt him was this gap right here, the Sean Tucker, Calvin Austin gap, whereas like Justice Hill is still doing some work. And Zay Flowers, I'm a little nervous for you with Tyler Huntley starting this matchup.
I might take Zay Flowers out still and put in my
Wandale.
Yeah.
It seems like Puka Nacua is coming back after this bye week. Any concerns on this Puka Nacua injury?
No, I think it could have been far worse. Injuries are just killing me this year.
Yeah.
I will say I am nervous about Aaron Rodgers' revenge game against Green Bay.
Yeah.
But I do trust Green Bay's defense enough that I think that it can be limited.
If you believe in the Ryan curse, I did make Aaron Rodgers my stream of the week this week, Dan. So that should be enough to. I say that should be enough to sink Greg's ship before he gets out of the harbor. The most prolific of the Thursday night matchups this week: Steve Horvath versus Rob P. And Thursday went Steve Horvath's way. 18 points from Kamani Vidal, 10 points from Justin Jefferson, and 14 points from Arande Gadsden. Love Arande Gadsden. Love seeing that kid ball out. Only 10 points from Jordan Addison in the flex spot for Rob P's team. Right now, Sleeper has Horvath projected to win this game by 17, Dan. Is this another one where you think Rob P's coming back like Rob Motz, or does Horvath have this one in the bag?
I'm going with Horvath on this one. I think Caleb Williams could have a big game against that Baltimore defense. Whereas I think Prescott could maybe not have as big of a day against that Denver defense. So a lot of it just comes down to the matchups. You have Smith in there. I don't expect much out of him.
And that's what kind of pulled me back, because once again, Dan, we are agreeing. is I don't love Brashard Smith, and he's in a bye week conundrum losing Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know how I feel about him preemptively benching Emeka Egbuka. When you look at the rest of his team, I mentioned I like Aaron Rodgers this week, so I do like DK Metcalf this week, and Green Bay has struggled against wide receivers. I guess you're just then benching Teteroa McMillan for Emeka Egbuka, right? Like you can't ever leave a healthy Emeka Egbuka out of your lineup.
It's tough. He's in a tough spot.
Like, I wish he hadn't started Addison, putting it bluntly. And Addison obviously found the end zone, so it's not a completely lost day. If this were my team, I would have benched Jordan Addison, Dan, or at the very least, no, not the very least, I would have benched Jordan Addison this week.
No, I agree with that move, but at that point, how confident were we that Emeka
Egbuka was playing? Yeah, I mean, he played last week. He finished the game. Obviously, Mike Evans goes down. What an interesting team there. I was going to ask you more about that when we got to Stevie's team. Yeah, it's just tough. So I just question whether or not he'll immediately bench Teteroa McMillan. Teteroa McMillan's been so. Buffalo is a great matchup for wide receivers, but do you trust Andy Dalton to get him the ball?
As someone who followed a lot of Andy Dalton's career, the answer to that question is no.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been saying it all week. I think Andy Dalton, everyone remembers last year where Andy Dalton came out hot. I think he had like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in his first game when he took over last year. He quickly came back down to earth, and then you have Buffalo coming off of a bye. It's just not a matchup I love for the Carolina Panthers.
Agreed.
We got Terry taking on JR. 3-4 versus 5-2. JR got a 7.8 points on the Thursday night game. That is a terrible performance out of Jordan Mason and a very bad performance out of Keenan Allen. Not looking great for JR. Sleeper has Terry winning this one handily. A 32-point victory. I have Terry winning this easily again. Dan, bad Thursday for JR was too much. He's going to need Jonathan Taylor to play the hero. But the fact of the matter is this. I think we see some vintage Derrick Henry this week coming off the bye against a beatable Chicago team. Plus, Terry, another one of these teams, harnessing tight end week, starting 2 of the best tight ends in fantasy football, Jake Ferguson and George Kittle.
Yeah, I feel bad. I gave Terry some bad fantasy advice last week. He came up to me. We were playing some basketball.
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't hear about the game. I heard that you were going to play. So
yeah, and we were playing some basketball. And he's like, man, Cup or Kittle? I was like, man, you got to go Kittle. And Kittle got him a whopping 0. Like, I felt so bad. I'm sorry, Terry. I mean, you lost by enough. I don't think it mattered, but
I hope you did cost him it.
I actually hope Terry loses this game. I want JR to win.
There you go. Keep that playoff race wide open.
Well, Terry's in front of me. I just need him to lose, and need to get in 6th or 7th place, so I can at least have a chance at something. Terry's team does worry me.
As in this week?
What's that?
As in they worry you this week?
No, as a team for the playoffs.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
No. He worries me about. I am going to pick Terry. If you asked me to look at these 2 rosters and pick who I thought was going to win this week before Thursday night, I probably would have went with JR.
Yeah.
But he's dependent on Mason, and I think it just
I do want to throw out JR.
He's going to get a kicker. I know who's on his bench.
That would be a Kendrick Bourne or a Theo Johnson drop, or Aiden Hutchinson, because you don't need to hold IDPs. So,
yeah, I think he should cut someone and get a kicker. Hopefully he does. But I do think Terry gets the win.
Yeah, I was going to ask if we're worried about him relying on Jordan Mason, but I forgot it's just a Kyron Williams bye week, so JR should be absolutely fine. Is not going to have to rely on Jordan Mason moving forward, but I do think Jordan Mason cost him this week. 2-5 Taylor taking on 3-4 Phil. I don't believe anything happened in the Thursday night matchup. Phil already dealing with 1 disappointment this week. Dan, do you think Taylor makes it 2?
Yeah, I think Taylor makes it 2. Phil's team keeps underperforming pretty consistently. So I think Josh Jacobs going against Pittsburgh's defense is not ideal. Although, I mean, Bengals seem to Joe Flacco managed it pretty well, huh, Browns fans?
So, Dan, it's so interesting you bring up that matchup because I actually like that better than Taylor on the other side, and that was the deciding factor for me, Dan. I'm picking Phil. This was the game where I said I just had so much trouble with picks this week. I hated this one. Like I ran this one through my little system 3 and 4 times. Still don't love that I came out with Phil. But when I really look at it, Alvin Kamara has just been such a dud this season, and Jacobs hasn't. I do understand it's a tougher matchup, but I'm going Phil here just because, and it was strictly that matchup because you have Jordan Love, Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix could actually turn this entire matchup around and make me look really dumb because he gets that Dallas defense that has been bleeding points everywhere, whereas Jordan Love is kind of slow and steady, wins the race. But then I think a lot of the other matchups tend to favor Phil's team. I don't love constantly relying on a quarterback and a running back from the same team, but that's just something he's going to have to live with. Tez Johnson's a sleeper pick for me this week. With everybody hurt out there in Tampa Bay, I'll be interested to see if he gets more and more involved. We saw a big touchdown from him last week.
What are you hearing about how they're going to distribute the ball in Carolina to the running backs?
So if you take last week, I haven't done enough research into it, but if you take last week, there was a weird comment where they said, we know who our starter is and we know where the volume is going. This was apparently said by Dave Canales. From what I understand, Chuba Hubbard started the game, but then it was like 66% carries to Rico Dowdle, 33% to Chuba Hubbard. I think until Rico Dowdle develops a fumbling problem, I think that's the carry. I think that's the way it's going. I think this is Rico Dowdle's backfield.
Another reason to go Taylor on this one. Come on, Taylor, don't let me down, buddy. I believe in you.
Yeah,
always
Chuba Hubbard in the flex, and he traded for Chuba Hubbard, didn't he? No, maybe not. I couldn't remember.
No, he drafted him.
Oh, okay. So, and then Dan, last game of the week, a game with a lot of playoff implications. I think this might be the only game where two playoff teams are actually facing off against one another. Stevie's sitting at 5-2. Rob's sitting at 6-1, running the league. When I talked to Rob this week, he called himself the luckiest man in fantasy football. Well, that luck may have slightly run out on Thursday night. 2 points from the Minnesota defense, where Stevie gets 15 points from his kicker. Sleeper has Stevie winning this matchup 105-93. Dan, before we talk about the matchup, with everything going down with this Tampa Bay offense, are we starting to worry about Baker Mayfield as a playoff quarterback in fantasy football? We put Justin Herbert under the microscope. Baker just had his first kind of bad week, and I don't know that it's coincidental that it's the week where he loses Mike Evans. He still doesn't have Chris Godwin back, and Emeka Egbuka is not quite 100% healthy. He gets New Orleans this week and a bye in week 9. Are you concerned about Baker Mayfield?
Going into the future, I'm not concerned about him. Right now, I'm concerned about him. Yeah, but down the road, no. I think he'll be fine as the season progresses, as guys get healthy.
And then Drake May just balling out against that Cleveland defense that has been pretty tough on quarterbacks and fantasy quarterbacks.
Yeah, I would be worried. I was shocked he's going to still start May. I would not start him in this game.
I don't think he has a choice, right?
No, I guess not.
Yeah, Rob moved on from all those quarterbacks. So he cut Kyler a few weeks ago, and I don't remember who his other guy was.
Did you see the report? I think it was either yesterday or today that the Jags are shopping Brian Thomas Jr.
No.
Yeah. Yep. And the Bills are trying to get Olave from the Saints.
I heard Olave. I actually heard Olave and Rashid Shaheed are available for any wide receiver needy teams, and so teams are going to figure out where they can come get those guys.
As an Olave owner, I would love for him to go to Buffalo. That would be awesome.
Monster pickup pickup for you. Monster pickup for Terry. But
for the Jags to be listening in the second year of Brian Thomas after what he did last year,
that's so weird to me. Yeah, I had not heard that rumor floated whatsoever. Yeah. I had heard early on
a well-known source. This wasn't like a
I had heard early on that we may be dealing with Brian Thomas what we were dealing with Tyreek Hill last year, in that it's a wrist injury or an arm injury that's causing him not to be able to play up to the standard we saw established last year. If they're truly shopping him, that can't be the case. So they have to be concerned.
I'm going to throw a theory out there, too. I don't think it's an injury at all. If you look back at last year, he was okay the first half of the year. It wasn't until Trevor Lawrence went out that he blew up in the second half of the year. And now Trevor Lawrence is back, and he can't do anything with him.
We got Trevor Lawrence back, and you have this entire new coaching staff, and maybe Brian Thomas just doesn't fit into Liam Cohen's offense the way everyone wanted him to.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So looking at the matchup, though, with all of what we just said, due to the matchups, I did give the edge to Stevie. Bijan Robinson, I think, is going to eat. But when you get down to starting Troy Franklin and Jawan Jennings, even though Stevie's starting Khalil Shakir and Josh Downs, it was enough for me, and you kind of hit on the flex position. I like Rico Dowdle better than I like Woody Marks. I do have this as a close matchup. What we saw from Thursday was enough to give Stevie an edge that I don't think Rob's going to be able to overcome it. And Rico Dowdle in the flex, something you brought up, was enough for me to keep that for him.
Yeah, I think it's actually going to be a close game. If May was playing somebody else other than Cleveland, I would probably take Rob in this one.
Yep.
That Cleveland defense is going to be a problem for him.
Well, Dan, we keep our habits alive. We have one pick different this week, and it's the game in my notes that I said I hate picking. So you have Taylor, I have Phil. That's the only difference. Down the board, we have me. We have Eric, we have you, we have Horvath, we have Terry, and we have Steve Weiss. I did not get Darren's picks before the show started. I'm sure they're probably sitting on my phone right now. Dan, we have no comments. Last week, the only people who played the game were the three people who always play the game. That would be me, you, and Darren, because we did everything through text message last week. Darren did a little game theory. So I took Mahomes and Nico. Darren didn't know, though. Darren had sent me his first. I took Mahomes and Nico. Darren took Mahomes and Achane. Darren took my guys, but my guy. And you took Goff and Gibbs. So, Dan, when you look at scores on Sleeper, just from the upper, they round up and they round down to give you whole numbers. Well, you and Darren both had 36 with the rounding, so I had to go in and get their actual scores. You had 36.46. Darren had 35.86. They rounded him up. They rounded you down, I guess, a little bit. You won the matchup by 0.6, probably one of the closest we've ever seen. Nice. That is your third win of the season. While we were off, Horvath took the contest down, getting his second win of the season. So far this year, I have one win. You have 3. Horvath has 2. Taylor has 1. Dan, my picks are locked in. As always, I give you the option to announce yours first. I'm sure you're going to make me go first.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. And Stevie jumps in here. Bijan for sure this week. Guess what? That happens to be my flex pick. I'm going with the 2 1s, I guess. I don't think Bijan's the RB1 right now. Dan, I'm going Patrick Mahomes and Bijan Robinson. Nobody on Washington is going to slow Patrick Mahomes down. This game is in prime time. I love him this week. And I think Bijan Robinson feast against Miami. 2, possibly 3 touchdown game. Patrick Mahomes, Bijan Robinson.
Those are my exact picks. So let me look at this here real quick. Let me adjust on the fly. All right.
Oh, and Stevie goes Hurts and Bijan. Stevie, I literally almost went with those 2 players and changed Hurts to Mahomes. So you and I are going at it. Quarterback v. quarterback. Mahomes versus Hurts to decide who takes it between me and you.
Let's go with Jonathan Taylor.
JT, always a great pick. Scored 3 touchdowns against the Tennessee Titans the last time they faced each other.
And Josh Allen coming off the bye week.
I don't think that's a bad pick either. I didn't know exactly how to play that game. Like, I'm looking at that game for DFS as well, Dan, and I feel like James Cook could be a value, but you're always worried when it's Josh Allen versus James Cook. So
yeah.
Well, Dan, that wraps it up. So if anybody else has picks, I'm sure I'll have Darren's picks to add to this thing later. My favorite quarterback in flex play this week, Patrick Mahomes and Bijan Robinson. Dan's is Josh Allen and Jonathan Taylor as his backup picks for both positions. And Stevie takes Jalen Hurts and Bijan Robinson. Dan, any parting words for our friends as we wrap up the Week 8 preview?
Kind of going back to where we started the show, as we were getting ready for this Massillon McKinley game this week, I realized thinking about something. Owen's going to be in middle school next year.
Oh, no.
And at no point in his life has he experienced a Massillon loss. And I was like thinking about that, like, man, that's crazy to think about. And then I thought, man, those McKinley kids in middle school have never in their life experienced a McKinley win. And then I go deeper with it. I was like, man, these kids on this high school team, Because I know Massillon went on a run, not just with the varsity. The freshman team hasn't lost to McKinley in a long time. Their 7th and 8th grade kids haven't lost to Canton City, whatever they call their teams over there, in a long time. Until I think this year. I think maybe the 7th grade might have lost this year, maybe the first time in a long time. Some of those kids are going to have been graduating from McKinley, have never beat Massillon on any level.
Well, yeah, I mean,
on any level. Think about
all
that.
the seniors this year have never beat Massillon on any level.
In probably the last couple of years. I know it's been a while. So that's something just crazy to think about. To never on any level beat Massillon.
So Dan,
have a great night, Phil. You too, Rob.
You know what? I'm not even going to add anything to that. Have a great night, Phil and Rob. Sucks to suck. Go Tigers.
Love you guys.
Deuces. See you guys next week.